Well, that didn't exactly end well. At least this is less rigged than some prison systems. Chrono Trigger. That line makes me think of a mistranslation from one of the Mega Man Battle Network games where they said cooling his heels, H-E-A-L-S, in jail. Unfortunately, they got away, but there wasn't really much we could do to stop them. Again, they had an airship. But yeah, that thing they said was very suspicious. They were also surprised at our numbers. This meant they knew the army would be coming. That means we need to be very, very careful what we tell to anyone here. Oh, well, he'd probably melt the bars by looking at them, and then walk out and then instantly convince everyone he was innocent with a single word, because, yeah, Cassius Bright. Oh, I wonder who that could be. Yep, that guy. Well, what are you in for? Probably shouldn't be surprised he'd end up here. Yeah, we actually saw him over there, but that place doesn't really have... Well, I mean, it's supposed to have windows on the outside, but the actual market part doesn't have windows. I shouldn't be arguing semantics about this. So yeah, that line about them looking for a pianist, yeah, that was actually important. That's why I made sure to talk to them earlier. But that manager seemed a little bit distraught when we last saw him, and Olivier was nowhere to be seen in town. Why am I not surprised? That is some expensive wine. Well, I wonder why that was. Oh man, I have been waiting for that moment so long. I love how they use the sleep jingle as a punchline there. I don't think I've seen another game do that. That is just so good. Well, good news there. And as it turns out, the mayor card has been played. Good thing we had that in our hand. See, isn't it a good thing we made friends with her earlier? Ah, that situation. So yeah, not only is Cassius Bright one of the greatest bracers who's ever lived, he's also a brilliant military strategist. Yeah. So, we finally have some indication of why Morgan hates bracers so much. He lost one of his best military men to the Bracer Guild. And yeah, that's kind of what I figured earlier. That's one way to spin it. Yes, now what could that be? Yeah, well, you should have probably told them that beforehand. Also, you probably would have been paid for years if you did get that as an advance payment. There are actually hints towards that if you talk to some of the people in the restaurants. There's also a bit of backstory on Mabel in there as well. She's actually gone all over the world, including to Erebonia, and recruited skilled chefs to that place. Now that fully explains why we were able to dine there earlier. Yes, he has been unleashed upon the world once more. Very true. And yes, the reason why Olivier joins our party is because he needs to pay off a 500,000 mirror debt from drinking a bottle of vintage wine. Yeah, that might be one of the best excuses for someone joining the party that I've ever seen out there. Well, I guess Sheeta recruiting Roger and Shadow Dragon is also up there. Thing is, he's actually no amateur. He's really good with Orbal Arts, so he's not going to drag us down at all. Well, hopefully that never happens, because he's incredibly powerful. That's an amazing way to put it. So, another incident has occurred. They're getting very audacious if they're doing that as well as demanding ransoms for hostages. So, once again, it is time for yet another investigation. And we'll need to stop by at the guild to claim that payment, as well as to turn in that escort request. Well, at least Morgan's a little bit nicer to us now that he knows we're Cassius's children. But that is very true, because of that whole spy thing. And so, onward to the South Block. Actually, what are you doing right now? Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what people say of Isabelle in Animal Crossing sometimes. Okay, so we can finally go around town for real this time, now that Olivier's joined us. And once again, we have blocked yet another old man! Oh, hey, she's actually agreed to help him for once. Anyway, I just want to see what happens if you go into the Anti-Rose bar with Olivier in your party. That's bound to be hilarious. Yeah, I had a feeling they'd react. Well, thing is, we now have the mayor on our side, so no, he's actually not gonna get arrested again. Yes, and the person who did it is right there. Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's absolutely nothing to worry about. I'm sure the culprit isn't standing right in front of you. Yeah, I just wanted to show that. One more thing that I want to show is that if we check the bulletin board now, we actually have one new quest here, Stolen Ring. We can't actually complete this one until the end of Chapter 1, but bear that in mind because it'll be important to remember when we go somewhere later in this chapter. Also, don't forget to report to Legrand, because he'll give you the BP for missing airliner. And we have to report again because of the escort request. We're not quite at a rank up yet though, but at least it gives us a little bit more mirror. We're going to be spending this mirror on something very, very special soon, but first, let's take care of what the plot wants us to do. So, we're supposed to go to the South Block and investigate the burglary. As you can see here, there are a lot of Royal Army soldiers walking around. Yeah, well, looks like you have the wrong information. We're not allowed to question anyone in these houses with the Royal Army here. So, in order to progress the plot, you have to talk to at least one soldier inside the houses. And then you have to go to the top floor of the Orbital factory. Might not be a bad idea to talk to the owner of Sidearms and Guards as well. And find out that his shop got burgled. That's kind of foreshadowing to something later. Though I suppose I can get a couple of new pairs of boots for other characters. Oh, by the way, it should be pretty obvious, but the reason why I told you to sell Olivier's gun earlier, he comes with a new one when he rejoins, as well as a new leather jacket. Actually, where we're going, we might want a little bit of additional poison protection. Okay, that's one silver earring for everyone. But like I said, the real place you need to check out here is the Orbital factory. Now, before you go upstairs, which is the real important thing to do at this point, make sure you talk to this guy, Nigel. So, this place got hit pretty hard. So, we found out that something that was stolen from Nigel is something he doesn't want the Bracer Guild seeing. Remember that for later. And guess who's here? Well, obviously, what could be a bigger scoop than the entire South Block being burgled? Hey, Dorothy, we haven't really seen you very much in this chapter. No, don't worry, the mayor handled it. Glad we have her on our side. I mean, that's true, but his info helped us. We did find the airliner. Okay, so in the time we spent sleeping in the cell, these two have been busy. Well, good thing we weren't there. At least, our faces aren't all over the newspapers as suspected bandits. Well, there aren't a lot of other criminals operating in this region. That kind of narrows down the list of suspects. Okay, no clues. What about witness testimony, though? That's a good point. You know, that makes sense. Oh yeah, those rumors. They've heard rumors alright, but not the rumors that he was probably hoping they'd heard. Or was he? I dread to think how that would happen. I love this. Just, those two are so eccentric, they just get on perfectly. Yeah, trust me on this one, you don't want to know. Okay, well that'd probably really depress you. I don't know, they could use photography to scope out targets. Now, Niall actually means it when he says he's been able to fill the pages, because there's actually a new issue of the LaBelle News on sale. We'll take care of that in a little bit, because there'll actually be something else we can do around that area after a little bit more in the South Block. Anyway, after you've spoken to Niall, the soldiers are gone. Or at least they've all gathered out here. So when we head down here, we'll see a scene. Yeah, that's all true. Still more of this friction. Well, we're already there. That place is overrated. You know, I'm trying to think who's worse, these guys or the Provincial Army in Cold Steel. Wait a minute, didn't you previously just say we're only civilians? Wow, way to be a hypocrite. Wow, okay, pulling that right off the bat. Considering their track record, probably not. Well, we kinda owe this guy for getting rid of the soldiers. But who is he? Well, you should probably be able to tell by now. That hotshot colonel who was mentioned earlier? We're finally meeting him. Well, you've certainly got more of a head on your shoulders than that guy. Yep, it's Colonel Alan Richard, whose name makes me think of Alan Rickman, but anyway. And that dramatic music is gone. Also, we didn't get a name for the female officer, so for the time being, she's just female officer. Yeah, that's that guy in the intelligence division who we've been hearing good things about. He's that guy who, well, Niall thinks will be able to solve this all by himself. He's also pretty popular with the ladies. You actually mentioned him to us. Well, you didn't either. And, well, the army wouldn't back off if it was an imposter. So, looks like they are gonna get an interview after all. There they go. Yeah, he's gone into full scoop mode. Yep, that's like the motto with Olivier. Ask and you shall regret it for the rest of your life. Yeah, so now the soldiers are gone, we can do exactly what Shara said. First port of call is this house up here. It's not 100% required for anything, but she'll mention that she's the one who put in the stolen ring request. Okay then, were those the army or the bandits? Probably the bandits. The really important person to talk about is this lady here. I believe I showed her conversation with her husband a little bit earlier in this chapter, and there was a reason why I showed it. If you keep talking to these two throughout the chapter, you'll find that she is incredibly annoyed at her husband's fishing hobbies. He often leaves the house for days at a time to go fishing. I can only picture what that looks like. Yeah, so her husband is the fishing, win kind of person. By the way, yeah, that line comes from that Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal terrible translation. I believe the original dialogue was, I fish till I drop and I battle till I drop too. Oh, speaking of which... Well, looks like we're about to witness said what for. So he doesn't even know we were robbed. Wait, who's he and what's that thing? Well, looks like we have another lead. Well, last time we investigated a rumor that was all hearsay, it turned out to be exactly where the Sky Bandits were, so chances are it's gonna happen again. Yeah, that's obviously suspicious. And launch into a sales pitch for the inn there. And several hours later, after he's explained all the intricacies of that inn and why you should stay there every day of the year. Wow, he actually did do that. True. And of course, there was that suspicious group of people, and then it turned out no one was actually staying at the inn at all. So, yeah. Clearly there's something going on down at the inn at Valeria Shore. And well, we know the second part of this line isn't true because the Sky Bandits seem kinda dumb. Yeah, of course you'd be eager to go there. So, that's our next destination, but before we go there, we want to go to the markets. In fact, everyone in town, I believe, changes their dialogue after Colonel Richard arrives. And once again, blocked, old man! Well, that's an interesting aspiration. But yeah, the real point to this is, if we talk to this guy here near the magazine stand, we get Carnelia Chapter 4. I'm really anxious to read this one because Chapter 3 ended on a pretty big cliffhanger. Or maybe she hired you because your name is Libro, which kind of sounds like words for books in certain languages. But anyway, what we also want to do here is buy Liberl News Issue 3. And while we're here, I might as well go ahead and read that, since I've been reading all of them on camera so far. Breaking story, the Linda saga continues. Ransom request received. A Royal Army representative reports that the Gransel Liberl Orbital Corporation, that's kind of a mouthful, and Liberl royal family alike have received letters claiming responsibility for the Linda incident. The criminals refer to themselves as the Capua family and demand a hefty sum of money, rumoured to be in the millions of Mira, to secure the passengers' safety. Who is the Capua family? These so-called Sky Bandits are a group of marauders operating from Imperial airspace all the way into the Bose region. Their exact numbers are unknown, but they're believed to be around 24 strong. The need for cooperative efforts. With the incident quickly turning from search and rescue to hostage negotiation, collaboration between the Royal Army and the Bracer Guild seems to be the best possible course of action. Morgan was probably pretty furious when he read this part. When questioned on this subject, a guild representative stated the relationship between the two parties has seen worse times, but is still less than civil. Given this idealistic divide, a partnership seemed extremely unlikely. Bose's mayor, Miss Maybell, has launched an independent investigation through the guild, but still laments the Royal Army won't share their information. This is no time for jurisdictional disputes, she says. Both parties need to work together. Having inherited the mayorship from her late father at only 21, okay, we get the exact age confirmation on her there. Miss Maybell is known as a very wise young lady. Whether or not either party will heed her advice, however, remains to be seen. Technology. Enter the Arseal. I think Arseal is how this is pronounced. I've looked at the Japanese and I'm pretty sure it's Arseal. At long last, the high-speed cruiser takes to the skies. With rigging a whopping 42 arge in length, the pride and joy of the Zeiss Central Factory has been completed and transferred into the stewardship of the Royal Guard. Watch out, do-badders! Although not airborne yet, the Arseal is scheduled for an operational test flight within the next few days, to the excitement of all involved. Due to delays in its orbital engine development, however, only a basic performance evaluation will be conducted at this time. Culture, The 100 Days War, Book Review. 10 years have passed since the war, and I'm sure we all remember the endless reports of casualties and destruction. Making an objective assessment of events a ludicrous proposition. That's exactly what this book sets out to do, however. Compiling accounts from virtually every possible source to paint a crystal clear picture of what happened behind the scenes, and how the war came to be. History demands a book like this be written, and on this dubious anniversary, I think everyone should give it a look. Travel, finding the perfect getaway. The Maple Leaf Inn, nestled in the corner of the quaint Elmo village in southern Zeiss, within walking distance of the Republic's borders, is the most luxurious hot spring resort this reviewer has ever seen. Its tranquil eastern aesthetic, abundant natural springs, and outstanding eastern cuisine are nothing short of dazzling. But the true reason to visit is, indeed, the soak itself. For you see, the Maple Inn is renowned for its open-air baths, an understandably embarrassing prospect to some, but those who succumb will be glad they did. Taking in the warm waters while gazing up at the starry sky is truly a breathtaking experience, and best of all, towels are optional. Except not in this game because of rating concerns. But yeah, of course there will be a hot spring in this game at some point, and of course, as it's mentioned, we will be going there eventually, but not for quite a while. So, there is one more thing that I want to do in the market, and that is, remember how I talked about apple ice cream before? We're about to see just what this stuff is good for. So, for apple ice cream, we need maple sugar, fresh eggs, fresh milk, and ripe apple. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy... okay. Not there, that's the wrong place. Okay, you can buy ripe apples here, let me see. How about I get 10 ripe apples? Then I think we can get the rest of the ingredients from here. Fresh eggs, we'll need 10 of those. Maple sugar, we'll need 10 of that. And yeah, fresh milk's the most expensive part of this. We need 10 of those. And with that, let's go ahead and cook 10 apple ice cream. Now, let's go ahead and sell all 10 of this apple ice cream. Now, this might not look like much, but if you remember very carefully how much mirror we had before doing that and how much we have afterwards, you might notice a difference. I think you know where this is going, but let me just completely break it down for you. Maple sugar costs 4 mirror, fresh egg 10, fresh milk 50, and ripe apple 20. That's a total cost of 84 mirror for all the ingredients you need to make one apple ice cream. One apple ice cream sells for 125 mirror. Yep! This stuff sells for more than the cost of its ingredients. This means that you make a 41 mirror profit per ice cream you sell. And while that doesn't seem like much, if you have enough mirror to buy 99 of all of these ingredients, which I'm not sure that I actually do. Okay, yeah, that's gonna cost quite a bit. I probably don't have enough for 50 of all of them though. And now let's make 50 apple ice creams. And sell them. And we come out of that considerably richer than we started. So, all of these merchants, they're going about this completely the wrong way. How to become a successful merchant in bows in just 4 easy steps. Step 1, buy ingredients. Step 2, make apple ice cream. Step 3, sell apple ice cream. Step 4, profit immensely. So, yeah, as long as you have enough money to buy these ingredients, you essentially have infinite mirror in this game. Yeah, that's a pretty considerable change in mirror compared to what we started with. So, yeah, this is a bit cheap, admittedly, but in a 100% run, you do need to buy quite a lot of stuff, so you might see me do this occasionally. I'll just do it one more time, just for the lols, and then I'll stop. Okay, yeah, that's all. I'm pretty sure this kind of thing is actually intentional, though, because every later Trails game always has at least one recipe that sells for more than the price of its ingredients. I definitely know there's one in Cold Steel involving omelets and one in Cold Steel 2 involving tricolored onigiri, which comes from tricolored rice. So, yeah, if you discover those recipes, you can make unlimited money, essentially. Okay, while we're selling bows though, I should mention something. You might want to stock up on items while you still can. Once we head to Valeria Shore, the plot will proceed onward, and we won't have access to any kind of shops, well, at least the Orbital Factory, for quite a while. Yeah, even though they were robbed, you can still use the Orbital Factory here. So, any quartz or weapons that you want to buy, make sure that you do it now. Also, any ordnance slot upgrading, make sure that you do it now. Because, like I said, we won't have access to these until the end of the chapter. So, speaking of ordnance, I now have a little bit more free reign on Olivier's ordnance, and do I have a better... I don't really have much better Mirage Quartz to put in that restricted slot, but I can at least... Okay, yes, there are a few different ways to build Olivier. I actually synthesized an extra blind quartz off camera a little earlier, and that's because I might want to put Hellgate on Olivier, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to remove Cast 1 from Sharer. Cast 1 is better on Olivier anyway. Okay, that gives me Shadow Spear, but not quite Hellgate. I actually need some Space Quartz to do Hellgate, so either move 1 or Eagle Eye. He doesn't really need to move that much. I think Eagle Eye is probably... Although where we're going, we don't have maps. Yeah, let's just do move 1. As for other stuff, though, it's also definitely possible to put Earth Wall on Olivier as well. So, it really, it depends. You can also put Aerial on him relatively easily. Pretty much any build that has a good magical AoE attack is good for Olivier. And I'm going to swap out your attack for Mind, because obviously I want more magic damage on him. Though if I put HP 2 on Olivier, he can actually use La Tier, which is an AoE healing spell. Actually, that's not bad for a boss fight we'll have coming up later in the chapter, but I guess I can switch over to that at the time of the boss fight itself. And yeah, I think I'll keep Earthwall on Estelle. I think I'm okay on Orbit setup. Okay, so heading down here isn't the end of the world just yet, but I want to go down here just to take care of the new Ansel Path monster. Now, I highly, 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 highly recommend waiting until Olivier is in your party to do this quest, because that makes it so much easier. Okay, so Valeria Lakeshore's right here. That's not it. Where are you? There it is. Okay, yeah, right here is the new Ansel Path monster, and I'm pretty sure this one's actually mandatory. But you can potentially fight this before Olivier joins the group. Rejoins the group, I should say. And, yeah, this is like a bajillion Amber Turtles. This fight is a pain without really good magical AoEs. In particular, lots of Hellgate users, because Aerial does not work well on these. And I don't even have enough for Hurricane anyway, so I guess I'll just go for Morale. I was gonna see if I could petrify a few of them, but that didn't work out. Okay, let's just aim that. I can try Aerial, I suppose. Ow. Okay, at least you're not gonna go for Joshua. And let's see if your cast and... Yeah, you can actually get right in there, good. Okay, so here's Hellgate number 1. And I may have to S-brake with Joshua after this, because the chances of him dying here are quite high. Hellgate number 2. Actually, honestly, I would probably prefer Joshua getting that crit turn, but anyway. Oh well, at least that hit both of them. Right. I'm not going to turn down a free Hellgate. Yeah, people have been asking what Olivier's S-Craft is. Don't worry, I will show that. I have plenty of opportunities to show that off before the end of this, and he still just has quick draw. But before the end of this chapter. He's going to be too slow to get any of that in, which means Joshua, S-Break time. Now, I don't know if this will actually kill it, because these things have freakishly high physical defense. Yep, still killed it. And lol blind.
We're good to go.
I was kind of hoping that you drop Fire Quartz, but no. Anyway, if you want a little bit of extra mirror, which we don't really need now that we have Ice Cream, but oh well, you can actually head back to the Bo's Bracer Guild and report that in right now. You will not have another chance for a long time if you head to Valeria Shore, so I recommend, yeah, getting it out of the way right now. And it's still probably best to be vague when we're dealing with a mole potentially somewhere. Okay, so here we are back at the entrance to Valeria Lakeshore. I should also mention that now is your last chance to fight the Shining Poms on the West Bows Highway. So if you haven't done that for the All Chapter Shining Poms achievement, or you want to farm a little bit of Cephas before the end of Chapter 1, make sure you do that now, because once we head into Valeria Lakeshore and start the events there, that will lock us into the final stretch of the chapter. And I will be doing Valeria Lakeshore next time, so I will see you all for that.